Alright, hey guys, it's Rob from TeamDBZBiscuit, and as you can see, it's been a while, so I'm back with another spin on the GREN MAJU deck. Actually, I give a lot of credit to the YCS Portland second place. It's not a net deck of it. It's been altered to go with the new ban list, as well as you know, with my own little twists and treats in here. Let's see what we're coming at you with today. Starts off with the boss monster, GREN MAJU. GREN MAJU, one great card, gains 400 attack for every card that is banished from play. And he can get really beefy really quick in this deck. Next, I run two of the Tues. Tues is awesome because she can be your normal summon as long as Golden Castle or Stromberg is on the field. Not to mention, she is a great target for, you know, a normal summon and then you special summon another level 8. You can go into things such as Zombie Stein and Hope Harbinger and all that, you know, that whole Galaxy Eyes mess of the XYZs. Two gilfs. I run two gilfs only because, you know, 3 is a little clunky in this deck, and you don't want to be, you know, you don't want to be bogging down with this deck at all. But Gilf is the card you can send from hand to the graveyard to get Golden Castle. Golden Castle, special summon, you know, Tues. Now you got a 2600 booty out there in attack mode. Also, I forget that if you use him as your normal summon, he can MST a card that's on the field. Spell or trap card. Pretty good card. Now we go into the Danger Engine, which is triple Thunderbird. Thunderbird is great because if your opponent doesn't randomly hit it, it gets special summoned to the field and you draw a card. If he does end up dumping it in the graveyard, or if it ends up out of play because it's sent, it will act as an MST on a face down, or it can destroy a face down monster as well. So it's either an MST or a Regeki, whichever you choose. That being followed up by his older brother Bigfoot ×3. Bigfoot is actually the opposite. If he is dumped either out of play or into the graveyard, he can pop one face-up card. But if they miss him, he is special summoned to the field at 3k, and you get to draw a card off of him. Pretty awesome stuff. And like you see, we're going with the 8s. Wouldn't be a banished deck without Giznik Orochi, who can be special summoned from hand or grave by banishing the top 8 cards of your deck. And not to mention, if your opponent can't get rid of him and he has a face-up card on the field, you can banish 3 from the extra deck to pop that card. Pretty good stuff. And again, like I said, you run the rank 8 engines in your extra deck. It's crazy. And of course, wouldn't be a banished deck without the big banisher himself, Eater of Millions. Eater of Millions is just great because you banish from your extra deck to bring him out, and then he gains 100 attack for each face down card, in which Giznik Orochi is banishing everything face down. Golden Castle or Stromberg also banishes 10 cards face down, so there's a good chance you can get this boy up to about 4k with ease. And and again, going back to my original Banish deck, not a lot can stop him. Effect Veiler can stop him for a turn. Fiendish Chain is more permanent answer on that, but who wants to clog up their back row? But he is just tremendous because, I mean, if you're battling a light deck and say they want to drop Honest, they can't even Honest him because he's still going to banish the card out of play. He's wicked. He's really wicked. And this is where I differ from the deck. I still opt to run double Necro Faces. There's a couple of reasons for that. Originally when I did this build, and I know the original build had run both Golden Castle of Stromberg and Potted Desires. That Potted Desires, running it in accompaniment with Golden Castle of Stromberg, I was decking out way too quick in the original build, trying to run that build. So I added my own touch with the necrofaces because there's nothing like watching a golden castle get popped, having 40 cards banished, and then dropping a necroface. And just basically it's like hitting that reset button on an old video game system. Just hit that reset button and start the whole thing over again. It's pretty good stuff. And that's the entire monster lineup for this deck. The spell cards, I run 3 Golden Castle or Strombergs. Golden Castle or Stromberg, great because you can normal summon out of your deck or your hand with it for 1. For 2, and it's the really trippiest part of this deck, if your opponent attacks while this is on the field, they take half the battle damage and their monster gets destroyed. Which is insane. But it's a really good card, really good as far as a field spell, and it makes your opponent really have to want to get rid of it. I run the Super Poly package. I run 2 of them, and because 3 again it gets cloggy. Not to mention, you gotta send cards from your hand. But the thing is, a lot of people are running darks. Watch them Super Poly into a Starving Venom Dragon against your darks, and then you just turn around and do the same thing to their Starving Venom. It's pretty wicked. Not to mention Salamangrates, again, a thing. Salamangrate, you'll see it in my extra deck. I run 1 Violent Chimera just for Salamangrates. Mud Dragon of the Swamp for anything that's not dark or fire. Pretty good stuff. I run the triple Twin Twister package because honestly, Altergeist is still a thing. Not to mention things like say pendulums are still a thing, though you don't see them very often anymore. And not to mention, and I'll say this for the benefit of you guys who love the Manual's Odd Eyes build, Odd Eyes is a dark, so you can Super Poly as Odd Eyes. And I don't think that destroys them either, so your dragon over there won't activate his effect. But anyway, again, like I said, I don't run the Desires because I deck out too quickly, so I've opted to run Allure of Darkness. And again, like I said, with Thunderbird and with Bigfoot, if you Allure of Darkness and send them out of play, they still get their popping abilities. Another reason to think about it. I run 2 Called by the Grave. Actually, I'm running 3 Called by the Graves. I totally forgot I added the 3rd just because Axe Blossom Joyous Spring is a thing. And all those other wicked hand traps are a thing that end up in the graveyard. I mean, DD Shifter. Different dimension. Dimensional Shifter, that's a thing. Yeah. That. He's a thing. So, I run 3 of those. It's like a 41 card build. With all the level 8, you knew that's had to be coming, guys. Trade in. Trade in's a great card with this deck because you dump a Rochi for drawing 2 cards, and then you bring a Rochi right back out. You dump a Bigfoot, you dump a Thunderbird, they get their effects going in the grave. It's insane. But that's the spell card lineup. It's a pretty stout draw engine, I will say that. And then I do run 1 trap in this, and it was a toss-up between this and there's only 1. There can only be 1. But the thing is, so many decks multi-summon stuff. 2, 3, 4, 5 summons in a turn. Guys, it's a little much. Oh, pop one of these things on them, you're gonna watch them cry. Because, I mean, even Salamangrate can't go into their Sunlight Wolf that easy with a summon limit. Watch a Cyber Dragon player try to make Cyber Dragon Infinity when he can only summon twice in a turn. It's virtually impossible. Monster Reborn Cyber Nova out of the graveyard, and then go into Infinity. There's your 2 summons. He's not as scary when he doesn't have materials on him. But you get my gist. I chose summon limit over there can only be 1 because there can only be 1. It hurts those 1-player decks, the dragons, the warriors, the machines. It hurts all of them. This is a multi-layer, multi-type deck, so it doesn't really hurt. The one time it really does hurt is when you have Eater and you want to kill the guy with Maju, but unfortunately they're both fiends, so you can't do it. But that's the main deck lineup. I think it's a 41 card deck. Side deck. Side deck is suggestive, and I will tell you right now, it's based on what I see going on here. And Altergeist still being a thing, nothing I'd rather do than drop a Denko Seika on them. They set 5 and tell me to go, I drop a Denko on them, they basically flip the table. Because they're not going over Denko. Monarchs are still a thing, so I still choose to run the Mask of Restricts. Not to mention, what are they called? True King Drake? Not True Kings, what are those things that use diagram? I can't remember. But basically, you shut down the tribute, you stop the whole damn deck. There can only be one, like I said. Cyber Dragons, Dragons, Machine Decks, whatever it may be. Heroes making a big comeback nowadays. Dark World even would fall to this because they're all fiends. It's crazy. But there can only be one. Eradicator Epidemic Virus. I play that for the benefit of the people playing back row decks. And I also play it for the benefit that the fact that 98% of my monsters are over 2,500 attack. So therefore, it's a real easy, say, Stromberg, Trude, set this, flip it over as soon as you draw, and hit all your trap. If I know you're playing Altergeist, I'm hitting all your trap cards. If I know you're playing Sky Striker, I'm hitting all the spell cards. It don't matter. If you get what I mean by that. One Monster Reborn just because I couldn't figure out the 15th card in my side deck. And then I'm also running 2 Galaxy Cyclones, more back row hate. You notice that because Altergeist is such a pain in the butt, and other things like, you know, say someone's playing Pendulums and they have the Sky Iris out there. This gets around Sky Iris and will let you banish, because Sky Iris says you can't destroy Pendulum Zones, but you can banish them. 1,000 life points is very small to pay. And that does it for the side deck. The extra deck, like I said, Mud Dragon of the Swamp, Violent Chimera for those Sally players, and Starving Venom. Wicked card, Starving Venom, because I know he can take the attack of one monster on the field when he's summoned. And honestly, he could lead the game off his Super Poly. That's why I run him. Link monsters, I run a lot of level 8s. That's why I run the BLS Link, because he's got like 3 different effects. He can banish on the next turn, or he can just do a boatload of stuff. He gains 1,500 attack, I know, and he can make a second attack the next turn, which is insane. You don't really want him attacking more than once. Cerberus, because bouncing special summon monsters is so much fun. Unicorn, and of course the Phoenix, the Nightmare package, because MSTing and bouncing, and I'm not even sure what Unicorn does, but he bounces as well. He's a Convulse too, so he can bounce stuff, and you know, just making your opponent work harder. Barricade Board Blocker, really good card. You're allowed to, at the end phase, dump a card from hand to get that Golden Castle of Stromberg for that next turn. Helps set up plays down the road. And of course, Zombie Stein, one of my all-time favorites in Dark World. Now he's an all-time favorite in here. I can make him without even thinking about it. And he's got that one negate thing about dumping a monster. So say you send a Bigfoot with his effect, you turn him into defense mode, you dump the Bigfoot pops the card on the field. Pretty good stuff. And of course the Galaxy Eyes package, Photon, Hope Harbinger, you know, that's pretty much self-explanatory right there. Hope Harbinger to suck up spell cards as they're activated. Ridiculousness. The Sky Prison I run because it's got the booty. I'm not running this because of its attack or its effect. I'm just running it for a booty and to stall out. And then of course I run the one Deer Gisu because I had 3 of them, and honestly I just had that urge to, you know, Dingusu can detach to save himself. So, you know, in case I need to stall out a little more, Dingirsu's there. But that's the deck profile, guys. You know, like, subscribe to the channel, and if you could, you know, I know in our YouTube collection we have my Banish deck. We have a YCS coming up here in Charlotte, North Carolina next month. I'm planning on running this, but if you think I should run the other one, you know, take a look, compare the builds, and let me know what you think, alright? This is Rob, and I'm from Team DBZ Biscuit, and I'm out of here.